David Schwartz just broke the XRP space, proving what we've been thinking for years. Let's start right away. It's so exciting. Ripple could sell the right to get the tokens that come out of escrow or even the accounts that the tokens end up in. The XRP still can't move around, though. In Digital Perspective, Brad Kimes breaks down how important this really is until the date of their release. David Schwartz says that the business can indeed sell the rights to locked XRP that is in trust. Okay, that's right. I've thought that since before I joined YouTube. This is what Ripple's chief technology officer said about one of the most talked about issues in the XRP community. Yes, Ripple can legally give or sell the rights to get XRP that is locked up in its banking accounts right now. Mama boo-boo, kiss my behind. You haters who have been attacking us for 7 or 8 years can all kiss. Okay, we get it. As you can see, Brad Kimes is very riled up and happy about this. I don't need to play that second thing. That makes perfect sense to me. Oh, people have had a lot of fun and been mean to him over the years because of this argument, and I think that tweet makes him feel a little better about himself. Vincent Van Code said in this thread that the total amount of XRP in circulation is actually 100 billion. The 35 billion is, of course, locked away. That's all. All market caps also use 65 billion times the last price that was sold. This is where it came from if you want to take a look. He broke it all down, of course. I don't need to say much more about this. I do have a new video here, Brad Garlinghouse on the big screen. I'll play this for you on stage with Tom Lee right now. If it's okay with you, I think you're showing that even in this talk, we don't all agree on crypto. I agree that it's still early, in part because people around the world don't agree on all of these things. And I believe some of the use cases were still very new when it came to big use cases. Circle is one example of a stablecoin that has started to be used in a larger way. But I agree that the crypto industry will be better in the next 16 years than it was in the last 16 years because there will finally be uses for crypto that weren't just speculation or stories about it being a store of value. Tom, oh, it's funny that Solana paid Western Union $50 million to work with them for 6 months, and you start to study. Western Union's business has been going down for 4 years in a row. In 4 years, they've lost $800 million in sales. Oh, not many good things can be said about these old systems, and I believe this is Western Union's last-ditch attempt to stay relevant. I think that people will have fewer and fewer other places to give and receive money. What makes someone want to use Western Union or the Western app when there are other ways to send the money for even less money? Guys, I'm not sure what you want to say. Cross-border payment settlements could be worth $189 trillion, but Western Union only handles about $100 billion a year, and that amount is going down every year. You saw Ripple, Franklin Templeton, and DBS have joined forces to make it possible for tokenized money market funds to trade and lend on the XRP system. Franklin Templeton's money market fund SG Benji token and Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin are turned into tokens using the XRP ledger. This lets institutional and qualified investors trade these tokens and use them as collateral in the DBS digital exchange. Just a little more information on this in case you want it. The fund is being launched here by DBS, Ripple, and Franklin Templeton. This partnership is a big step toward bringing blockchain technology and regulated digital assets into regular money. Ripple and XRP will directly gain from this. This partnership information grows. The RLSD and SG Benji Franklin Templeton tokenized money market funds are now listed on the XRP ledger by the DPS exchange DDX or DDX. Institutional and accredited investors can trade RLOSD and SG Benji tokens 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This lets the market rebalance into stable assets that pay a return and settle almost instantly, which isn't possible in regular violence. The setup lets buyers turn assets into tokens that can be used as collateral for loans and maybe even for repo markets. It is known that the debt markets clear anywhere from $2 to $8 trillion every day. Imagine if the XRP system and Ripple were in charge of clearing, only a part of that. Here is where XRP prices can really get very high. We should note that this is just one way that the XRP system is being looked at and used by big players right now. It does make the hair on the back of your neck stand up. Things are getting really exciting. It seems like every time I go online, there are new agreements and exciting news. I'm just glad to be a part of this. I believe you to be the same, ladies and gentlemen. Then what does this have to do with Ripple and XRP? Of course, using the XRP system, Franklin Templeton shows the XRP ledger because it has a lot of users and doesn't charge a lot of money. This shows that the XRP ledger is widely accepted by institutions as a way to store controlled tokenized assets. The XRP system is being chosen over Solana, right? I also use Ethereum for some of these things. For the record, these are the world's biggest and best financial companies and players. So, if Ripple can help these big players, it kind of feels like it doesn't need to go after these little guys anymore. Solana is probably there now picking up what's left since you can't hear him doing anything like this. I just thought this was an interesting piece of news to share with you. Okay, moving on, CME Group. On October 27th, 9,900 XRP futures contracts were traded. That's almost 10,000 contracts, ladies and gents. I'm going to just throw this out there and explain why it's important. They give you this type of futures. These plots show the price, the volume, and all the other good terms. It does talk about getting access to capital-efficient XRP exposure. XRP and micro XRP contracts are a cheap way to get exposure to the price of XRP while also letting you see prices and control your risks. You can trade in a more flexible way by picking between an outright contract block and B-tick trading. So that's why this is important. Access to institutions and authority. A lot of institutional investors regulate CME futures products because they make entry to crypto markets safer and more regulated. Finding prices and being clear about them. Trading takes place in an open CFTC-regulated setting, and reference rates help find the fair price for XRP. Professional traders and institutions can use risk management tools to protect their real XRP holdings or make directional bets using futures options. This makes the market more liquid and helps manage portfolio risk. The XRP ecosystem and holders gain because institutional professional traders who need access to regulated derivatives can now join the XRP market. This means that there are more investors who can buy XRP and the market has more liquidity. We've been talking about this for a long time. Liquidity, liquidity, liquidity. More trades on the CME can affect spot XRP liquidity, which could lower spreads and make capital use more efficient. It does talk about how old the market is. A big step forward in the signaling market is the start of derivatives. Oh, it's a trend that we've seen before, like when Bitcoin CME futures were launched in December 2017, and when Ethereum CME futures were launched in December 2017. I've seen that with Bitcoin and Ethereum. I'm sorry, I'm still making my way through this cold. I'm sorry about the new strategies and volume. The fact that both straight and micro contracts are available lets traders use a variety of strategies. That might have been on the internet, and now we're getting news from the European Central Bank. A big meeting is going on right now. To your right, you can see that leaders from all over the EU are here. Michel Lagarde is in the middle of this. Oh, in this case, you start to wonder if they are going to talk about the digital euro, a CBDC, or even digital IDs. What will that look like in Europe? How will this all work out? There has been a lot of talk about what the digital euro might look like and what technology it might be based on. It's all just a guess right now, but you begin to think, right? Are they going to choose our favorite cryptocurrency? Or Ripple or private ledgers, I guess? What are they going to do? We need to wait and see. Okay, guys, I'll leave it at that. I hope you like this. I just thought this was amazing news. It was important for me to leave Kui